This is a presentation of the Shoreline Transportation Benefit District Proposition 1, Sales and Use Tax for Sidewalks. Although Shoreline is a relatively new city, its infrastructure is not. Most Shoreline neighborhoods were built to King County rural standards in the 1940s, 50s, and 60s. When we incorporated in 1995, investing local tax dollars in our infrastructure was a priority. Almost immediately, the community began planning for improvements to Aurora, the Interurban Trail, and to our stormwater systems. In 2006, Shoreline voters invested in parks through a park bond measure, and in 2009, Council voted to increase the vehicle license fee to help fund our pavement management program. Through surveys and other community input, residents have helped direct priorities for capital investment. Over the past year, we've been looking at the next big infrastructure investment that residents have indicated they want. That is sidewalks. Only about 1/3 of our city's arterials and even fewer residential streets have sidewalks. Shoreline residents have repeatedly identified sidewalks as important. In this year's resident satisfaction survey, sidewalks were once again the top priority for residents. Less than half of the respondents said that they were satisfied with the availability of sidewalks on major streets and routes, and even fewer expressed satisfaction with the availability of sidewalks in their neighborhoods. Residents have also expressed frustration with the condition of the sidewalks we do have. The city's pedestrian plan, developed in 2011, includes approximately 153 miles of sidewalks. This map shows the entire pedestrian plan. A little more than 78 miles currently exist. When we incorporated, we had 54 miles of sidewalks. Since incorporation, we've constructed just over 17 miles using funds from our capital budget through grants. Private development has paid for construction of another 6 miles. That leaves approximately 75 miles of sidewalks that still need to be constructed to complete the pedestrian plan. Unfortunately, the need for sidewalks is greater than the resources available to complete the pedestrian plan. In order to build out the remaining 75 miles, we estimate it will cost more than $400 million. This amount doesn't include the estimated $110 million needed for repairs and maintenance of our existing sidewalk system. In order to address our growing need for repair and maintenance of our existing sidewalk network, the Council voted in June to increase the vehicle license fee by an additional $20. The $20 fee in VLF will generate approximately $830,000 per year in additional revenue to be used solely for sidewalk repair and maintenance. While this is a significant boost to our efforts to maintain and repair sidewalks, it is still small compared to the need. We have limited resources when it comes to funding transportation projects. We rely on real estate excise tax, known as REIT, vehicle license fee, known as VLF, and support from our general funds. Over the past 6 years, on average, we've collected $1.8 million for transportation projects through these sources. That revenue is then divided between paving streets, traffic signals, traffic safety improvements, and sidewalks. This is why we rely so heavily on grant funding for capital projects. Historically, we have spent about $142,000 per year on sidewalk repair and maintenance through the curb ramp, gutter, and sidewalk maintenance program. New sidewalks have generally been built using grant funding like Safe Routes to School program, or using money that is part of larger capital project like the Aurora corridor improvements. Constructing sidewalks is not cheap, and there are many different factors that impact costs. There are planning and design costs that can vary depending on complexity of the project. Then there are construction costs that can vary depending on the price of materials at the time of construction. There are also lots of other variables that can impact the cost of sidewalk construction, including driveway crossings, fences and landscape built into the right-of-way, and stormwater and amenity zones. Because sidewalks are expensive and we have limited funds, it's important for the city to have a way of prioritizing between different sidewalk projects. To do that, the city manager appointed 15 Shoreline residents to a sidewalk advisory committee to look at how to prioritize and fund construction of new sidewalks in Shoreline. The committee members came from a broad range of neighborhoods with diverse backgrounds and interests. They met monthly and sometimes twice a month to work through the process with city staff. Throughout the process, the committee emphasized the need for access and mobility for everyone. The committee and city staff developed a prioritization plan that focused on safety, equity, proximity, and connectivity. Council approved the prioritization plan earlier this spring and then looked at how to fund new sidewalks. Whatever council decided, voter approval would be necessary. Council looked at several options, including increasing the property tax, a sales and use tax, increasing the VLF even further, or a combination of these resources. Council ultimately decided to place a sales and use tax before the voters. If approved by Shoreline voters, Proposition 1 would increase the sales and use tax in Shoreline by 0.2%. Sales tax in Shoreline is currently set at 10%. Proposition 1 would increase it to 10.2% for a period of 20 years. If approved, the city would use the money generated to construct new sidewalks. Increasing the sales and use tax by 0.2% would add 2 cents to every $10 purchase for taxable goods and services within the city. All funds collected must be used to support the debt for sidewalk construction or repair. It can't be used for anything else. Sales tax is applied to most retail sales and services except general grocery items. This table shows the current sales tax rates in Shoreline and its neighbors. You can see from the table that Shoreline is currently at the bottom of the list. If Proposition 1 passes, Shoreline's rates would go from 10% to 10.2%, placing us in the middle of our surrounding jurisdictions. The adopted resolution placing the sales tax on the ballot identified 12 sidewalk projects to be constructed initially. The projects are all part of the 2018 Sidewalk Prioritization Plan. Current projections show the money generated will be more than the cost to construct the initial projects. Once the 12 projects identified here are completed, City Council will fund additional sidewalk projects using the 2018 Sidewalk Prioritization Plan as a guide. Council may choose to use available funds to expedite repair and maintenance of existing sidewalks. All monies generated from the ballot measure must be expended to support the city's sidewalk program. Here is the ballot language you'll find in the voter's guide. A simple majority is required to approve the measure.